Welcome to Creed. Most of the times in our lives, when we are planning things, we want them to go according to our plans. Everything that you want to be done, you want it to be done in accordance to how you visualized it in your thinking. But one thing we should always remember and put in mind is that we also need to put God's will and His consideration in everything that we plan on doing and in what we are thinking about doing. We should not think about what other people will think of us, neither should we be afraid. The only thing that we should be concerned about is what God really wants to happen, because how we see things is different from how God sees things. What we see as weak and worthless, God sees it as something that He can use for the glorification of His kingdom. What you see as impossible, God sees it as an opportunity. And the most weird thing about God is that when He chooses someone or when He chooses something, there is no way that His mind can be changed to another. Kindly like and subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to hit the notification button. Our reading for today will come from the book of 1 Samuel 16, and we are going to read from verse 1 up to 13. And the Bible says, "The Lord said to Samuel, 'How long will you grieve over Saul, seeing I have rejected him from being king over Israel? Fill your horn with oil and go. I will send you to Jesse, the Bethlehemite, for I have provided for myself a king among his sons.' And Samuel said, 'How can I go? If Saul hears it, he will kill me.' And the Lord said, 'Take a heifer with you and say, I have come to sacrifice to the Lord. And invite Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show you what you shall do. And you shall anoint for me him whom I name to you.' Samuel did what the Lord commanded, and came to Bethlehem. The elders of the city came to meet him trembling, and said, 'Do you come peaceably?' And he said, 'Peaceably I have come to sacrifice to the Lord. Consecrate yourselves and come with me to the sacrifice.' And he consecrated Jesse and his sons and invited them to the sacrifice. When they came, he looked on Eliab and thought, 'Surely the Lord anointed is before him.' But the Lord said to Samuel, 'Do not look in his appearance or on the height of his stature, because I have rejected him. For the Lord sees not as man sees. Man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart.' Then Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass before Samuel. And he said, 'Neither has the Lord chosen this one.' Then Jesse made Shammah pass by, and he said, 'Neither has the Lord chosen this one.' And Jesse made 7 of his sons pass before Samuel, and Samuel said to Jesse, 'The Lord has not chosen this.' And Samuel said to Jesse, 'Are all your sons here?' And he said, 'There remains yet the youngest, but behold, he is keeping the sheep.' And Samuel said to Jesse, 'Send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he comes here.' And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy, and had beautiful eyes, and was handsome. And the Lord said, 'Arise and anoint him, for this is he.' Then Saul took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brothers. And the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon David from that day forward. And Samuel rose up and went to Ramah. The Bible tells us about Saul. and how he was unfaithful to God, and God rejected him from being king over his people. And God decided that he will select another person to be the king of his people. This situation made Samuel to be very sad because he wanted Saul to still remain as king. And according to the Bible and how we are reading, we understand that Samuel was also afraid of Saul. God gives us a calling, but we are so much afraid of people around us that we don't want to take the responsibility. But we are told after too much convincing, God was able to convince him to go and anoint someone else to be the king. When he went to Bethlehem, he called Jesse and his son to go and make a sacrifice. And funny or weird enough, Jesse called all his sons, but he forgot about David. This has a very deep meaning. In our lives, even your parent can forget about you. Even your brother, your friend can forget about you, but God will never forget about you. When God says you're the one, it doesn't matter who comes before him, whether they are tall, strong, small, beautiful, handsome, it doesn't really matter. For when God says yes, nobody can deny him. And the Bible tells us that Jesse made 7 of his sons pass before Samuel, but none of them was selected. And Samuel asked Jesse, "Are all these your sons?" Jesse answered him and said, "There remains yet the youngest, but behold, he is keeping the sheep." Jesse was there making excuses as to why he did not summon David. People will always make excuses as to why they haven't referred you to something that you're supposed to be blessed with. According to the rankings of his house, David was not strong enough to do other things but to just watch over the sheep. But Samuel said to Jesse, "Send and fetch him, for we will not sit down until he comes." Funny how Jesse did not see David being part of the event, but Samuel told him that we will not continue unless he gets here. Your family may see you as a weak person. They may see you as someone who cannot do something great, but the Lord will not bless their house until you're at the table. And the Bible says, when David arrived, the Lord said to Samuel, "Arise and anoint him, for this is he." I just want to remind you today that it doesn't matter how people see you, but when God chooses you, nobody can change his mind. They saw David as a weak young boy, but God saw him as the king of Israel. And Samuel took the oil and anointed David in the midst of his brothers. God will choose you irrespective of your position, and he will bless you regardless of what other people may think of you. Kindly like and subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to hit the notification button and leave a comment. May God bless you so much.